Porsche 911 lineup has more options than the menu at the Cheesecake Factory, and until you get to the GT cars, that being the GT3, the GT2 RS, things like that, the regular Carrera models, these two right here are the pinnacle. So you've got the base Carrera, you've got the Carrera S, and then you have the cars that we have right here, the Carrera GTS. So this is the most performance-oriented version of the 911 Carrera that you can get before you start stepping up into the GT3 and, of course, the Turbo. We have two different versions. There's also a convertible model total. So we have the Targa right here, which, as you can see, is sort of kind of a cross between a coupe and a convertible. And then we have the standard coupe as well. This one is finished in a nice chalk finish, which I really like as a color. And then this one is a luscious carmine red. And there are some differences about the two cars, so let's go ahead and take a quick walk around. So the GTSs all have this sport design package. You get these blacked out headlights. I think they look really cool, very menacing. I love the wide stance that all 992, 911 cars have. Now we look at the wheels. This is one of three wheel packages that you can get here on the GTS model. These are center locks, the most aggressive looking one that you can get. You can only get them in black, and we happen to have the carbon ceramic brakes, which are finished in yellow. These are 10 piston front calipers, I think 6 piston rears, massive brakes on this car. As you can see, we have a different wheel here on the chalk Targa car. It is a lot more spokes. We've got the base wheel package here. Still a really cool looking wheel. I think this is a little more of a road looking wheel, whereas this one is a little bit more of a track focused looking wheel. Behind both, we have our little GTS sticker letting us know that this is the most performance oriented Carrera model, although you can delete that if you want. And then moving around the back, we've got some really cool taillights. I love how it sort of streaks across the side here. Really accents how wide this car is. I mean, just look at that big booty. You know, we've got everything's blacked out on the GTS. We have 911 Carrera GTS, but you can have it just say 911 if you think this is a little bit too much text, which I happen to. We do have sport exhaust on both of these cars as well. Now looking at the Targa, this is the one that is a little bit more different. So as you can see, we have a 911 Targa 4 GTS. All Targas are going to be all-wheel drive, whereas on the coupe, you can get either all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive if you so choose. And here on the GTS model, the Targa roll hoop, which is normally silver, is going to be blacked out. And as you can see, we have our glass panel right here. Right here is normally where your fabric roof will go, your Targa piece. This is all motorized. It's very cool how it opens up. I really do like it. And you get this really cool piece right here that you can click up or down for wind. So we're going to start by checking out the interior of the Targa first, because I think this is closer to how most people are going to configure their 911 GTS. Now we've got the 18-way adjustable seats. These are optional. It's a 2-way adjustable power seat as standard. I really love these seats. I think they're very comfortable. There are a million different things you can get in terms of materials, but right here we have our black leather and our suede material with our chalk stitching to match the exterior. We also have some nice chalk seat belts as well. We've got GTS stitched in the back here. If you pull this latch, you can get into the back seats, although good luck fitting back there. They are quite small. It's better to just fold those rear seats all together and just have a nice storage area. I love the adjustment on these with the bolsters and everything. It's a great combination between having a comfortable seat that you can use every day and something that will hug you in on the tight roads. Now let's go ahead and look at the rest of the interior. I'm going to go ahead and close the door and turn the key. It is keyless here. This is our roof control. Unfortunately, on the Targa, you can only operate this roof when you're at 0 miles an hour. It will not work while you are moving like the convertible top. Here you can see the roof is coming down and the latch in the back is going to shut. So that's a little bit how that works. And once you close it, it is very quiet in here. We've got our really nice sport steering wheel. I love this. These are your drive modes. You can select from normal, sport plus. You also have wet and individual. I love the tack here. You've got this big giant tachometer right center. That's a Porsche thing always. sounds really good. The only problem is the way on the camera you can really see these two outer gauges, the one being the clock and the one being the fuel. Unfortunately, the wheel tends to block it. So that's just something that's a little bit annoying on all 911 models. This is not a GTS specific item. We do have our sport chrono package up there with our little clock. That is really cool. That can either be a clock or a race timer. We've got our new 11.9-inch screen with wireless CarPlay. You do get Android Auto, but it is wired only. We have our sport exhaust. This makes the exhaust louder. We've got our nose lift function, which is great, and PDCC, that stands for the Porsche Adaptive Suspension. You push that button and it gets just a little bit stiffer. We've got the 8-speed PDK example here. So this is the dual clutch transmission. You have this little knob here that you use to shift in and out of gears. We have the awesome 360-degree camera. I think that is amazing. It looks great. We've got our heated seats down here and our big cup holder, which is a little bit annoying in terms of the placement if you have the manual. With the PDK, it is absolutely fine. I love the PDK. We'll see how that feels out on the road when we get it out. But if you do need another cup holder, the only other one is right over here. This looks really cool. I'm just worried about how that'll hold a bottle when you're on some really tight roads. So now let's check out the Coupe, because the interior on this is quite a bit different. So instead of the 18-way adjustable power seats, we've got these fixed buckets. They are carbon backed. You can see there is carbon fiber all in the back of those. We've got our matching red seat belts. And because we have a red car, we have the matching red stitching GTS and everything. So these seats are extremely aggressive. I've ridden in them before. My two complaints with them are you don't have any power adjustment, and it is very bolt upright. You sit very fixed up. So if you like to recline, as I do, these seats are not going to be as comfortable. But if you do plan to take it to the track, these seats are a fantastic option. They're some of the best racing seats you can get in a car, to be frank. So let's go ahead and close it. I'm going to go ahead and do the same procedure, starting it up with my foot on the clutch. Yep, I did mention clutch. So as you can see, we have our red gauges right here. I'm going to go ahead and turn the AC down a little bit so that you guys can hear better. I love having the gauge cluster, the tachometer, match the exterior of the car. That's a really nice touch. We've got the suede, I think they call it Race Tex interior on this one, you know, on the seats and stuff like that. I don't love it on the steering wheel, but it is really good to make it grippy. And of course, right here, we've got our 7-speed manual transmission. We'll see how that feels out on the road, but I do love that Porsche does offer these with either the manual transmission or the PDK automatic. Now, these seats, I should mention, we also have a lightweight package on this car. I don't have pricing on it yet but as you can see, it deletes the rear seats. It does a few other things besides that as well. You get lighter glass, you get the rear steering as part of that package, and it saves about 55 pounds compared to a regular coupe. So if you want the lightest, most track-focused 911 GTS, you're pretty much seeing it right here, this coupe model that I'm sitting in. So we're going to go ahead and get both out on the road, starting with the Targa. All right, so we're starting off in the Targa because this car has the PDK transmission, which is how I think most people are probably going to buy their 911 GTS. About 75% of people, Porsche says. Now, both of these cars are powered by the same engine, a 3-liter twin-turbocharged flat 6 that produces 473 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. Now that's 30 horsepower and 23 pound-feet of torque more than what you're going to get in a Carrera S, which is pretty significant, and it's really close to what you're going to get in a GT3, which is of course a naturally aspirated flat 6. Now you can get these, as I mentioned before, in rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. This Targa model that I'm driving is the all-wheel drive, which I really do like. It just gives you that stability, and it's great if you live somewhere cold, so you can drive this car year-round. It does add a little bit of weight, and you definitely feel it in the very tighter bends. I think the rear-wheel drive car is significantly more agile in the very short, like small, tight corners, but in the sweeping stuff, the all-wheel drive is really nice. Now this 8-speed PDK transmission, what can I say about it that hasn't already been said? It is possibly the best transmission, the best automatic transmission ever built. It works super well at slow speeds in traffic. It crawls really well. It's a fabulous experience, but it also does really well when you drive it spiritedly. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop here. We're going to go ahead and put the roof up, which has to be done at a stop. That's because I just want to make sure that the noise in the video is great. And I'll talk to you in that time about the performance specs, because the fastest model that you can get here is going to be the Coupe GTS with the PDK transmission. That's going to go from 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. That's about a tenth quicker than the Carrera S. The slowest that you can get with a PDK is going to be 3.4 seconds. That's for a Cabriolet model. Now the Targa is the slowest model. Anywhere from 3.9 to 4.1 seconds is the slowest possible. If you got a Targa manual, or I believe it would be a convertible manual, would be the slowest, but 4.1 seconds is still really quick. And at the low end, 3.1, this car is actually quicker from 0 to 60 than the GT3, which is just crazy. That turbo torque really helps you from 0 to 60. Now the fastest version, the Coupe PDK, is going to go in the quarter mile 11.5 seconds, and it's going to top out at 193 miles an hour. That is excellent. Now this one that we have is not the most aggressive that you can get, but it's still an absolute wonderful experience. You can see I'm not in sport mode, and the PDK just really gave me a quick downshift there very easily. We've got almost all of the performance stuff that you want to get as standard here, standard on the GTS, that would be optional on a Carrera S. We have the PASM, the sport suspension, 10 millimeters lower on this, the same suspension that you're going to get in a 911 turbo. We've got the same brakes as a turbo, 408 millimeter rotors in the front, 380 millimeters in the back, 6 piston front calipers, 4 piston rears, and if you want, you can get the Porsche carbon ceramics, which is what we have on the Coupe that we'll be driving. Those are even better. These brakes are still really solid, but they definitely fade after like a lot of abuse. Those carbon ceramics will put up to anything that you have. So this car also has the rear axle steering. That's an optional package. I'm not a huge fan of rear axle steering. I like to just know exactly what my car is going to do, and I felt at some moments there was a little bit of instability when the car was engaging the rear wheel steering to nudge me around. It's great in the tight corners, but this car is really big and really wide, and it's just so planted and so agile all on its own. I don't think that you need the rear wheel steering. And before I hop out of the PDK, I just want to say, oh my gosh, this might make me a manual convert. It shifts so quick. It shifts so fast. You can push this little button here for sport response. That'll give you maximum gear shifts as quickly as you can possibly get them. It's so fun to drive. I do love the Targa. It's a very compliant daily driver that's also quiet on the highway. I think it's a little bit quieter than a Corvette, even with the roof off. So if you're looking for the perfect 911 that you can drive every day, get a little bit of roofless action, but still be comfortable every day, the GTS Targa, great option for you. Now let's hop into the racier Coupe. All right, so now we're driving the Coupe manual rear wheel drive. This is a very, very different beast than we just got out of. I know it's the exact same car. It's a 911 Carrera GTS, but I can already tell you that this feels different. The manual, the rear wheel drive, the lightweight package, it totally drives like a different car. I don't feel that weight on the front end of the all-wheel drive. The front end just feels so much freer to do what I want it to do. I get less understeer, so I can just put it exactly where I want it on this really narrow back road that we have here. I just feel the grip from those rear tires, just natural grip, rather than the mechanical all-wheel drive grip produced in the Targa. I definitely have a sharper, more direct connection to the car, to the exhaust, because I'm just hearing it better. The glass is thinner because of this lightweight package. I'm having to hold myself in a lot less in these bucket seats. If you're the type of person that has roads like this around you, all right, maybe I'm a convert on these bucket seats, because these are really doing a great job holding me in, keeping me like really snug. I don't have to flex my abdominal muscles I feel a difference between those and the Steelies. They really stop you. Not that the brakes on the Targa were bad, but these are frankly excellent. You could stop on a dime with these. No fade, just slam on the brakes. Oh, it really stops you quick. The manual transmission. Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. The GTS has a shorter throw than the S model. I'm not really sure how it compares compared to the GT3, but it is a slightly shorter throw here on the Carrera GTS. And I gotta say, it's a great manual, but I have so much torque, so much mid-range from this twin-turbocharged flat six that I don't need to shift gears all that much. I kind of just pick a gear and stick with it. I've been alternating between third and fourth on this road, and just because I want to, not really because I need to. I could definitely stay in third the whole time. I've got plenty of revs left coming up to a corner. I don't really need to go into second here. I'm at about 3,000 RPM, and I can easily power out of it with that torque. It's so great. Now, I will say, I don't know if a GT3 would walk away from me on this type of road. Like, a GT3 has only a little bit more power than this, 500 horsepower. And like I said, if you spec this out the correct way, PDK, all-wheel drive, coupe, lightweight package, you're going to be quicker to 60 miles an hour in this than you are in the GT3. And the way that this one's configured, lightweight package, manual, this is probably the best street drive that you can get with like a little taste of track performance. The Targa is a lot more comfortable if you're going to daily drive it, but this GTS, the way that this one is configured, outstanding. So that was the Porsche 911 Carrera GTS, the Pinnacle version of the Pinnacle sports car. That is, until you get into the crazy stuff like the Turbo and the GT3. I think if you are looking for a 911 model and you want the fastest one possible, but you're probably not going to take it on a racetrack too often and you don't want the compromise, the GTS is probably the coolest version you can get. We really hope you've enjoyed this review of the Porsche 911 GTS. For more videos like it, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be alerted of all of our latest videos. We'll see you next time.